The Triumphant Return. Amunet rides back into her village on a majestic white horse. Golden sunlight follows her as if a loyal pet. Every step of the way, the locals cheer, shouting praises for their hero. But when Amunet dismounts and walks among them, some can't help but whisper in fear. They know her powers are dangerous. What if they grow to great? Will she become a tyrant like Pharaoh, Akhenaten, or perhaps even worse? When strange signs appeared in the sky, an eclipse, red clouds, or falling stars, the village elders knew this was no good omen. Something terrible had been stirring since the day Amunet defeated the Shadow Serpent. She has awakened something worse, one elder warned. A curse is spreading through the land. Amunet rushed to greet her childhood friend, Maya, and her family. The siblings had grown so much since she'd last seen them. Maya was almost a woman now. She threw her arms around Amunet, laughing. "You look amazing, Net. You really are a sight to behold, like a goddess come down from the sky." Other villagers weren't so welcoming. "Why have you come back here? Witch, don't you think you've done enough damage?" An old woman shouted. Despite the hostility, Amunet pressed on. She wanted to protect these people, but first she needed answers. As she walked through the marketplace, she saw withered crops, piles of dirt where vegetables should have been growing. It was as if someone had sucked all the life out of the land. Then she heard a familiar voice. "If you don't leave, we'll suck the life out of you." Amunet spun around, hand instinctively reaching for her sun pendant. There stood 5 boys from school, the same ones who used to tease her mercilessly, but now they looked different, darker somehow, and their eyes glowed an ominous red. One of them took a step forward. "We're the Shadow Serpents, the embodiment of darkness. And you, Amunet, are our queen." Just then, a man stepped between Amunet and the boys. "What are you doing here? Begone, shadows." The newcomer radiated power and his eyes burned like bright coals. When he turned to Amunet, she felt a jolt of recognition, but couldn't place him. "Pharaoh Khepri," he said, bowing his head slightly. "I've sent a messenger for you, Amunet." Her mother gasped, rushing into the courtyard. "You shouldn't be here, it's too dangerous." "But mother," Amunet began, but her mum cut her off. "You have a duty to the kingdom. Your pharaoh needs you." "I do have a duty to my people," Amunet shot back, surprising herself with her own boldness. She hadn't meant to be so sharp, but her mum was acting so strangely. "Your father would have understood," she said softly. Her mother's face crumpled. "He would have understood because he never truly knew you. He thought you were weak. He left me, he left us because he feared your magic would consume you, that you'd become a monster." Amunet shook her head, tears stinging her eyes. She didn't want to believe that about her father. "Come, child," her mother said, wiping away Amunet's tears. "Let us get you ready for the journey. You will stay at the palace, though this village holds nothing but danger for you." That night, as Amunet lay on her bed in the palace, she couldn't sleep. Her mum was right. She did have a duty to the kingdom. But what about here? The villagers needed her help. She could feel their fear, their despair. How could she ignore that? Just then, Nefra, the desert spirit, reappeared as a small, glowing scarab. "You must listen closely," she whispered, her voice like the tinkling of bells. "The curse lies buried beneath this village. You must go there alone and retrieve it. Only you can break the curse." Amunet felt a surge of determination. She might be just a young princess, but she wasn't helpless. She slipped out of the palace and made her way back to the village. This time, she wouldn't be sneaking around. She rode on horseback, the white animal a gift from Pharaoh Khepri who'd insisted on escorting her, but she'd politely refused. Now, golden sunlight poured from behind her, illuminating the dusty path like a spotlight on a stage. When the villagers saw their princess riding toward them, they fell to their knees and bowed their heads. "Don't be afraid," Amunet called out to them, trying to sound strong and sure of herself, but doubt gnawed at her. The closer she got, the weaker her sun powers became. Her horse whinnied nervously, pawing at the ground. The air crackled with tension. Suddenly, a dark figure rose from the crowd. It was one of the boys who'd taunted her in the marketplace. "Well, well, look what the cat dragged in," he sneered. His eyes blazed with power. Behind him, the other 4 boys formed a circle, chanting in unison. Their voices echoed eerily through the village. Before Amunet could react, a whip cracked through the air, striking the boy across the face. He howled in pain. As the chant faltered, the villagers shifted restlessly. Amunet's heart pounded. Was the pharaoh here? But when she turned to look, she saw only her mother standing behind her horse, her face hard and cold. "Did you think you could handle this on your own, Amunet? You are a royal princess, not some commoner." Amunet stared back defiantly. She wasn't scared of her mother, not anymore. The villagers gasped as the two women faced off, their eyes locked in a battle of wills. Finally, Queen Titi broke eye contact and nodded curtly. "Get up, you disappoint me." "Come," she said, turning to leave. "I will show you what true power looks like." As Amunet followed her mother deeper into the village, she noticed the ground beneath their feet beginning to crack and crumble. "Look," she cried, rushing to the edge of the chasm that had opened up. The villagers stood on the opposite side, their faces pale with terror. "We're trapped," one of them cried. "Help us, please." Amunet turned to her mother, pleading, "We have to help them, don't we?" But Titi only shook her head. "There is nothing we can do. It's too late." At that moment, the earth rumbled and a terrifying creature emerged from the sand, a ghastly spectre with tattered robes and a gaping maw filled with razor-sharp teeth. The villagers screamed in terror as the Sand Wraith glided toward them. Amunet knew she had to do something, anything, to save them. She raised her hands and called upon the sun, summoning every ounce of strength she possessed. Sunlight erupted from her fingertips, driving the wraith back. "Run," she shouted to the villagers. "I'll hold it off." Amunet raced to her horse, urging it forward. The villagers clambered aboard, and together they fled from the village, the wraith hot on their trail. The creature swooped down, lashing out with its claws. Amunet dodged just in time, glancing back to see the villagers scatter and hide in the caves dotting the desert landscape. Now that she was alone, Amunet knew she couldn't outrun the wraith forever. She had to fight. Just as the creature lunged, she whipped her horse around and rode right through the center of its ghostly form. To her surprise, the wraith let out a deafening roar and collapsed into a pile of dust. The curse was broken. As the villagers emerged from their hiding places, cheering, Amunet's horse suddenly collapsed, collapsing to its knees and turning to dust. The villagers gasped, but Amunet just smiled. She had known this might happen and wasn't afraid. The desert was her home and she belonged here with these people. She might be a royal princess, but her destiny lay here protecting her people. Then she looked up to see a familiar shape on the horizon, riding toward her, silhouetted against the setting sun. Pharaoh Khepri, he was coming for her. Amunet took a deep breath and started walking toward the setting sun. No matter what adventure awaited her next, she would face it head-on. After all, she was Amunet, daughter of Ra, and the sun would always guide her home.